So my research looks at facility location models in which items need to be processed. So traditional models said that all of the demand arriving at a processing facility needed to be processed on the day it arrives. But in reality, that's not the case. If you have more items arrive than you can stick them in the corner and process them tomorrow. So we look at, does that affect anything if you actually model that you can have more demand arrive than you can process? And if so, is it a different cost? Do you get different location decisions and whatnot?
We've been looking at chemotherapy patients at the Cancer Center of the U of M. In this particular conference, we were talking about the phlebotomy area and how it's very important for the whole process in the cancer center, and how we approach the problems happening here throughout discrete event simulation.
So we are looking at very new applications in power system, especially for resilience, like power restorations, like introducing renewable energy. When you look at these, the fundamental assumptions of the grid are basically not valid anymore. And so what we are looking at is new technique for finding high quality solutions or good relaxations. And what the talk was about is essentially combining convex relaxation and constraint programming and seeing how they actually have a lot of synergies for actually computing better bonds and better solutions together. So it's very interesting because we are able to narrow down the duality gap tremendously on these problems.
When you or a loved one goes for surgery, you want to be sure that your surgeon has the right instruments properly cleaned, sterilized, and available at the right time for your proper care. We realized the fact that certain instruments actually were harder to clean than others based on their design features, and also how instruments were grouped together and delivered to the rooms also affected their likelihood of being taken to the operating rooms, clean, sterilized, and in working condition. And so using our approach, we created a method to evaluate instruments based on their cleanability, and also developed a tool that allowed surgeons and administrators at the hospital to configure instrument sets in ways such that they could ensure improved financial stewardship and ultimately improve patient safety overall.
I'm looking at a specific class of math models that contain some risk measures, and the risk measure itself is kind of tricky, so it makes the model very difficult to solve. So we are aiming at developing some tools that can solve the model, of course, correctly, but also efficiently. And then, so in particular, we are looking at techniques like parallel computing so that we can make the thing run really faster than most of the existing solvers and things like that. Yep.
So there's critically ill patients that go to level 2 pediatric intensive care units, and these units are smaller. They don't have specialized equipment that might be able to take care of the patient better, or a specialized physician. So what they do when these critically ill patients come is if they don't have the requisite resources to treat them, they'll transfer them to a level 1 pediatric intensive care unit like the University of Michigan hospital system, which is big, has a lot of physicians' equipment. So what are the determinants and what are the outcomes of this transfer decision? So what causes patients to be transferred, and how does that affect the transfer or not? Really what we wanted to develop is using that analysis, develop a framework that could potentially help physicians make that decision, when you should transfer, if you should transfer, and when you should transfer.